Let's see if I have everything turned on. Forgive me, but as you can see, starting a little bit messy, unfortunately. I apologize. Okay. Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. Erev tov lekulam. Good evening, everyone. Erev tov lekulam. I apologize again for being late. Actually, last lesson when I left here, the car didn't start. Oh, no. So Kara came, gave me a jump, and got home. But it's apparently a bigger problem than just a battery. So yeah, I came here with her car today, and the key was on my bunch. In any case, sorry for that. Good evening again. Erev tov. Thank you all for being here. Our last lesson of the class. What I want to do today is very slowly do our last and most annoying bit of material called particle et. I'm going to do it slowly but surely as the plan for today, and then I want to recap the class. And Stephanie, ma'am, thank you very much for printing out these questionnaires. I do have questionnaires here for later, whoever wants to fill it out anonymously, named, whatever, but so I can know how do you feel about the class and what can I do better. Moving on. I do have an obligation from last class. Let's see, where's the logo? So last class, there was something that, truth be told, surprised me. We were talking about, there was an example we did about how old we are, okay? And that example, I want to dwell on. I said I'm gonna circle back to it, and that's what I want to do through the first part of the class. The word ben. There is another one. Let's get into it. I'm gonna write the same example. Dot on the left, making it an S, machine. So this is 1, 2. Should still see it on Zoom, awesome. Thank you to whoever cleaned the board, Marianne. Thank you, as always. Again, dot on the left on this sheen here, making it sound like an S. Okay. You think I missed anything? 2 examples. As you can see, the only difference is really just the second word in each. Anyone want to try and read number 1?
אני
Ben?
בן
20. So we said if the dot is on the left, it makes it an S, right? And then resh with the dot, yud carrying the sound, and the final mem. Well done. Ani ben 20. And last week, the problem came from the word ben, okay? You can see it here, ben. The word ben has an extra meaning here. So, ma'am, I delved into the Hebrew Academy and actually other sources because I was trying to find the origin of the word ben, so it can explain to me why do we also use it to tell our age. Now we know that ben means son of, okay? So technically, based on what we learned, ani ben esrim, esrim, I'll give you a hint, it means 20. I did here. Esrim. Eser means 10. Eser pluralized. Esrim means 20. Putting that aside, going back to ben, and I'm going to move here. So we said, in essence, if we learned before that ben means son of, why do we also say ani ben esrim? Number can change. But why do we say I am this, or why do we use ben to say this is how old I am? I do want to say before moving on, but, as we can see here, but, the same example, ani but esrim, same thing for female. So it can mean daughter of, and you may remember it from bat mitzvah, okay? So when you asked, ma'am, why does it mean, why do we use it like that? It actually stumped me too, because I'd never really thought about it. And to be honest with you, I found no explanation. I found a way to maybe bridge it. So to make it as simple as I found it, ben or but, for the sake of the matter, can also mean of age, okay? I'm gonna write it down below. But in essence, we have ani, me, I am. Okay, both will say the same thing. I'm of age 20. And remember, we have that literal, how do we translate it literally? The most flat I can get it is also I am son of 20, which kind of makes sense in biblical Hebrew. We do not, this is the one example you'll see it in, ben or but. And yeah, I spent hours trying to find, seriously, man, because it stumped me too, because you don't really think about it until you think about it, right? One source I saw suggested to use of age as an alternative. I found that to be the most amenable, because at the end of the day, a lot of words will have several meanings, right? And we do need to be aware of that. So in essence, we just added another meaning to the word ben, or in this case also but for female. Sorry, was that understood, ma'am?
It was, I'm playing with it, so I'm thinking about somebody saying that, in essence, I have been your son for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been your daughter for 20 years, and I actually really like it. It's making age more personal, family.
It does actually, ma'am. I will say in the Bible, you also see ben esrim avivim, springs, 20 springs or 20 winters.
And that sounds Native American.
Yes, ma'am. And again, that's where you see how, again, some stuff stayed with us, but are actually very old. I suspect this is so old that I couldn't even find an origin to it. Most places just said, oh, just remember it. Which, yeah, I had a hard time to accept.
And you grew up with it, you remember it.
Yes, ma'am. And yeah, again, me creating this class and teaching it got me stumped in a lot of moments that, again, speaking and growing up, you don't realize. Was that understood?
Thank you for.
No, by all means, man. Thank you for all your good questions. I will say, if I start saying I have been, not a lot will change actually, just we will have to add the time tense, right? Which I want to do for the A2 class. And I will say as a caveat, I started building the continuing class for this one. I went back to all the syllabuses. In the past, I'd say this class is about 70% of an A1 level beginner Hebrew. It's actually not. It's very much 90%, except that I can't do all the examples with you all. So yeah, it's not 100%. Moving on, if that was understood on Zoom, any questions? Okay, great. 7:22, so I'm gonna erase the board and continue. And I am gonna slowly but surely do particle at. That is on page 56 and 57 at the workbook, if you want to refer. Yeah. And I do want to say at this particle we're about to talk about is probably one of the reasons I set out to send you all the music and movies and stuff. You hear it a lot on any and all the stuff that I sent you. That being said, everyone should have a workbook, but I'm gonna share screen anyway to my presentation. Okay, particle it. Aleph with 3 dots, taf, it. Now, the easiest way I found to tackle this is to first talk about how the sentence is phrased. Again, this particle we're about to talk about does not exist in English, okay? It exists in Hebrew and does not in English. I do want to give us a hint though, before I delve into it. Hebrew loves to acknowledge things, which is why you will see the acknowledging hey, the all the time. Ha bet knesset, ha yafe, ha yeladim, ha, and so on and so forth. Why do I say that? Because it very much acknowledges something. Let's talk about it. In simple sentences, and I'm reading, we will often have a subject, a verb, and most often than not, an object. Okay, so far so good. Verbs show the action, the subject is what we're talking about, and the object has the action inflicted upon it. Okay, an example, I love you. Love is the verb, you is the object, I am the subject. Or another example, and you should be seeing my cursor move. He flew to Israel. The subject is he, flew is the verb, Israel is the object or the supportive scenery in this sense. So far, so good. Continuing on. What is a definite or an indefinite object? Okay. An example, the sentence, the boy kicked a ball. The ball is the object. Okay. And that's what the boy is kicking, and the kicking is the action. If it's just any ball, a ball, then it's an indefinite object, meaning it doesn't matter which one it is. It's a general object. It's just a ball, any ball. If it's a specific ball, the ball, then it is a definite object, something we both should know what we're talking about. If I'm saying ha bet knesset, we both know there's only one synagogue that we both know, and it's this one, okay? So it's in this sense, the synagogue is a definite, specific object. In Hebrew, specific objects beget this particle et in front of it, okay? Which tells us that is the case in the sense, okay, this is not just a general ball. This is the ball that Timmy loves to death. It's red and his dad gave it to him. Whatever. Was that understood so far? Just the oral explanation? Awesome. Now, here's the thing. Because it comes before the object, in English, we would call it a preposition. Let's see what I wrote here. The grammar particle et is a preposition that points out to us a definite direct object in a sentence, meaning its job is to tell us this is not general, this is specific, and I'm intentionally doing it slowly. Yeah. It does not have an equivalent in English, which is why I kept it for last. But if we do get this and get this right, then this will help the Hebrew learning increase exponentially. What is a preposition? A preposition shows us the correlation between a pronoun, he, she, it, or a noun, like in the sense ball, or with another word in the sentence. For example, another example, the car is on the road. On is a preposition. It tells us something about the car. In this case, it's on the road. It's not near the road. Noun followed by preposition, showing the correlation to another word. Okay, so here's an example of another preposition from English. In this case, on. It could have very easily been near, next to, behind, in front, prepositions. Okay, et is a preposition that is a little bit different, but that's the closest I can find. Which finally brings us to an example. I'm going to read the sentence slowly, and you should be seeing my cursor move on this example here. Hem, they are. Motziim, this is a verb, and we can hear already the im sound, meaning it's plural. And this verb means taking out. Ani motzi et ha'arnak, I'm taking out my wallet. Let's see what this example is. So, hem motziim, they're taking out et ha darkonim. Who remembers what the darkonim means? You should have it there. Passports, awesome. Darkon, darkonim, passports. They are taking out the passports. Now, you can see me, I capitalized and bold and the, because this is where et comes in Hebrew. Hem motziim, they are taking out et ha darkonim, the passports. So I guess the easiest way to understand et is to emphasize the. Okay, it's not just any passport, it's the passports. And we have the transliteration, hem motzi im et ha, and you can see the prefix ha, darkonim. And in this sense, the passports are definite because we know it's your passports. You won't be carrying just random people's passports. You'll be carrying your own passports. They're yours. So in this sense, passports are definite. Sorry, that was a lot of talking. Did I lose anyone? Was that understood so far? And I do want to dive into examples. Let's see, what else do I have here? Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing here so I can just do it with you on the Blackboard. But by all means, if there's something that's not understood, stop me and I will resume. And what I did in the workbook is also, you can see on page 57, you also, let's do these examples. Let's do these examples. I need your help, okay? So we have on page 57, again, like we know are stencil, single male, single female, plural of each. I need your help. How do I say that? As a male alone, as a female alone, as a group of either. I'm going to start with the first one, just to do it together. Continuing here. Does anyone remember how we say help?
That's right.
Ezra. Well done, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Good to see you. Shelcha. Dot on the right, making it a sh. Okay. Caveat, when I said, in this example, when I say I need your help, we're talking to a single male. Shelcha is yours, speaking to a single male. That's what all the examples are. I used it just for simplicity's sake, but we can change this possessive pronoun to all of the others. Shelanu, if you remember, ours, or shelachem, shelahen, shelahen. Theirs, yours, so on and so forth. Anyone want to try and read it? Moment of this. Okay, now, anyone want to try and read it? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well done. Doing great. אני צריך את העזרה שלך. Well done, ma'am. Just repeating for Zoom. Again, אני צריך את העזרה שלך. Now, I tried to emphasize the et and the prefix. I don't know if that worked. But what's happening here? Let's break it down. We said ani, me, I am. Easiest pronoun in the world. We should be remembering it by now. Tzarich is a verb that I think we did do before. Hint, it means need. Ani, need. Tzarich. And we can hear it ending in a consonant sound, tzarich, which means male, and then single in this case. Ani tzarich, I need. And then, surprise, surprise, we see it. So immediately I know I'm about to receive, the continuance is about to be specific, okay? Et, ha. So I need the, okay? The help of yours. And here we can see why help is specific, because it's your help. It's not just I need help, ani tzarich ezra. So let me write it down. If it was just general, generic, and not specific, it will be Okay. So this is the difference. אני צריך עזרה. I just need help. I need help. Just I need help. What is the help you need? It could be instructions. It could be an ambulance, God forbid. It could be whatever. You need someone who's speaking English. But the help you need, we don't know what it is yet. It's a general kind of help. Versus when I say אני צריך את the help of yours, it's specific. It's a specific kind of help. It's yours. I need you. Sorry, over explaining it because it's hard. Was that understood? Okay. I do want to transliterate somehow. I'm going to erase the bottom. Now, if I wanted to say, I'll finish transliteration for real quick. Continuing there. Okay. Oh. אני צריך את the help of yours, עזרה שלך. Now, this is single male. And again, you have all of this in the workbook, but for the sake of doing it together. If I wanted to make this as if I'm speaking as alone in a single female, then the change is on the verb here. Okay. Very awesome handwriting. Anyone want to try and read this verb? Tzricha. Well done, sir. Tzricha. So the change in the transliteration will be just this. The help of yours. Let's say yours and you're a female. I'm asking a lady for help. Shelach. Let's say, Mary, ma'am, I need your help. I'm a male, אני צריך, שונא צריכה, את העזרה שלך, שלך.
Today at 7 p.m. Mount Sinai Synagogue 20
And you may remember that possessive. Sir. You may remember that the possessive pronouns correlate with the pronouns. So why does yours, being a single female, becomes shelach? Because it's equivalent to at. Remember, I left the emphasis in it when we were talking about pronouns. At, you are. speaking to a lady. So shelach, and we can see the pattern of vowels returning. Question so far? Okay. Let's do plural. Change the yours as well to plural as well. Okay. Again, we're saying the same thing, except now we're a group of people talking to a group of people. We should remember by heart this pronoun here. Anachnu, we are, us. The verb is still the same, still need, except this time it's plural. Tzrihim. Tzadik, two dots, making it a no vowel. Resh with a dot, you carrying the sound. Chaf, same thing, and we can see no emphasis in it, so it's a ch sound. Final mem at the end, closing up the word. Anachnu tzrichim, tzrichim. So if I will change translation here, and you can hear the ending im. Et ha ezra shelachem. Shelachem, yours, speaking to a group of people. It's equivalent to hem or atem, sorry. The pronoun that is. Remember addressing a group of people, you are, and we can see the vowels repeating. Putting that aside, to help us remember, we need your help. Again, the help is specific because it's your help, except this time we need it, not just a single person. Any questions so far? Awesome. I'm going to erase the board and do another example. Yeah. Okay, and this is single male. This is an example off the top of my head. So again, the last example was the one on page 57. I do want to do examples with you that you don't have on the workbook, because you also have the answers on the workbook. Okay, this one is an easy one. These are 2 dots here. Could be 3 actually, but it doesn't matter. Anyone want to try and read this?
Ani ohev et. Kara?
Kara. Yeah, well done, ma'am. Ani ohev et Kara, which means I love Kara. Me, ani, I am. Ohev is verb love, in the single male sense. And then surprise, surprise, who do I love? We can see et here, which means something is about to become specific. Okay.
But there's no the, he said.
Yeah, so there's no the, because so Kara, so if I said the Kara, it'll sound just as weird in Hebrew if I said it as in English. If I love the Kara. But Kara is still specific, right? And again, I can just as easily actually the other example. We'll do other examples that do have the but et Kara. Kuf. So I will say Kara. My family members, when they write it in all different ways. This is how I usually write it, but again, this is transliteration, so no rules about it. Kuf with 3 dots, Aleph carrying its sound, Ke, and then Resh with a kamatz with a hey at the end, Ke, Ra. Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there ever a time when there's a direct object that there's not an et?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So actually, this is the very basic form of it. Then the next one, I'll delve into it more. It can become, so you won't necessarily see specifically it, you will see a conjugation of it. So for example, instead of Kara, I can just, for this is outside of our material, you don't have to remember this, but just for the sake of explaining it. So this is still a tense of it, except what am I saying now? Putting Kara aside for now. Ani ohev ota, meaning her. I love her, except now it's a specific her. It's not just he. So if I'm telling you ani ohev ota, let's say I'm talking to my homie back home and I don't know, bad breakup. Achi, bro, ani ohev ota, I love her. He's supposed to know who I'm talking about, right? It's not just a general her. But again, yeah, that's a complexity on top of a complexity. Him can also be oto. Ani ohev oto, I love him. But yeah, that's for next, the more advanced class. For the sake of right now, it. And you're right, it kind of keeps us very simple, I would say. I need the passport. I love Kara. I love Max. And it keeps us very simple, unfortunately. Yeah, but that's our level for right now. Putting us back where we were. Here is our infamous et. Ani ohev et Kara. And mind you, when I translate this to English, I translate this in 3 words. right? So it doesn't carry into the English. In English, it's implied you don't need to work harder like in Hebrew. Where is it convenient? Where we do have the before. Ha. It makes it easier. We will have examples where we don't have it. Which is why we're practicing. I'm sorry, that was long. Did that yes, ma'am. Any questions in the classroom on Zoom? You've been quiet on Zoom. Yes, sir?
Why? Ha instead of hey. Which means the same thing.
So if I were to do that, let's play it out, for example, so you can see what I mean. Let's say I erase the et, and I just add here the prefix the. Ani ohev, I love the kera. Now what happens? So I don't need the in this sense, right? Because we already know Kara. I don't need to acknowledge her again. But what happens when I don't use either of them? And I just say Ani ohev Kara. It does not mean I love Kara. It'll mean it'll sound more like Kara I love in Hebrew. It'll sound weird to a Hebrew speaking ear. Will it work? If you say to an Israeli Ani ohev Kara, they'll understand you love Kara. But it won't sound right. Does that make sense, sir? Did that answer? I can also say, just putting Kara aside for a second, I can also say, Ani ohev pasta. I love pasta. So in this sense, pasta is general, right? How about, let's say, I love that red pasta from that one place, right? Remember we went to that restaurant and I loved that pasta. So we both know which pasta, right? Let's deal with it. And this reminds me, by the way, but because Jason did ask, how do I say, I keep forgetting your Hebrew name, man. But he asked if I say Ani Ohevet and then your name, and I said, actually, yeah, you're correct. And so this is where we're revisiting it, and I will do another example. I'm going to erase the pasta and write et. Okay, so now the same thing. Let's say fossili, for example. Okay, and we did say so names Hebrew tries to leave as is. So to make the pasta specific, I added fossili, which is transliterated as I hear it. Fu-si-li. Okay, just as is. So now that we made the pasta specific, let's see what happens. Again, ani, me, I am. Ohev, I love. And here we can see that we do have the return of the ha. And you can kind of test it in English. if you need to say the in English, you probably need to say the in Hebrew. If you don't need to say it in English, like I love Kara, then you don't in Hebrew. But it doesn't forego about the et. Again, the et is what tells us. It's about to get specific. And again, I want you to go slowly, word by word. Ani, I, ohev, love, up. About to get specific. Et. What do I love? Et the pasta, fusilli, the fusilli pasta. Does that make sense? Max is getting bored. It means I'm talking too much. Okay, I'm gonna transliterate so you can have the sounds as well. Silly. And yeah, and I'm intentionally trying to exaggerate words like that. Yeah. I had a drink. Okay, I love the pasta fusilli. I can be changed. Let's say you love pasta fusilli. The pasta fusilli. Okay, how does it read now? Changes there. Ata. Ata. You are addressing a male who's alone. Ata ohev et pasta fusilli. It can even be a question. Do you love the pasta fusilli? And then I can say, Ken, ani ohev et pasta fusilli. Questions about this? Let's try another iteration. I'm gonna keep it a question. Change this. Now what happens? A tema. And I need to change this earlier. Okay, now we're addressing a group of people, a group of males, or a group of both. Atem, ohavim, and we can hear how ohev becomes ohavim and the ending im. Et hapasta fusilli, the pasta fusilli, to which we can say yes, no, some of us do, some of us don't, whatever. Another iteration can be אנחנו ohavim et hapasta fusilli. We love the pasta fusilli. Point being, showing you all of this is that, yeah, everything, even just because I give you one example, doesn't mean that it can't work some other ways, or that you can't mix and match with it. That is the point. Please do experiment like that. And if you get caught up or stuck in something, yeah, you can definitely ask me long after the class has ended. Putting that aside, yet another example. Let's see, how am I on times? Yeah, I do have another time for another thing. And as you can see, what I tried to do in the workbook is to have like more vocabulary building every few pages. So 59 is another vocabulary building. More and more. Let's think of an example that doesn't exist here. I'm gonna erase the board. So I'm gonna keep the anachnu still talking as us, we are. Different verb. We did learn this one. Dot on the right, making it a sh. Let's see first. Okay, long example. Anyone want to try and read? Well done. אנחנו אוכלים
הפלאפל שלו
shel. So there's a space here.
של
Noam.
שלו
I think you know already, so. Well done. Good job, Max. Let's do it again slowly together for the sake of Zoom. אנחנו, we are. What are we doing? We are ochlim, eating, eating. And we can hear the ending im, telling us it's plural. אנחנו ochlim. What are we eating? Et ha the falafel. Which falafel? Shel, we said of Noam. Of course, we are eating Noam's falafel. So, and you can hear how in English, remember I said earlier in the class, Israelis won't necessarily say the same thing in order to say the same thing. Meaning in English, it would be more comfortable for me to say, we're eating Noam's falafel. In Hebrew, what we're in essence saying is, we are eating the falafel of Noam's, which sounds weird in English, right? But that's how we speak in Hebrew. Again, we can see it, ha, the in this case, we do need the falafel of Noam. Specific falafel, which tells us it takes an it. So again, if I'm doing this at home, okay, alone. Okay, Aleph, there's a line, nach, nu. Oh yeah, I remember anachnu, that's that pronoun, right? Sorry, ma'am. That's that pronoun, right? It means us, I think. Let's check the workbook real quick. Oh yeah, it does mean us, or we are. What's happening here? Ochlim, okay, ochlim, same thing, letter by letter, ochlim, eating. Et ha, I already know something's about to get specific. What is it? What are we eating that is so specific? Noam's falafel. The falafel of Noam, more like it, which we know in English, Noam's falafel. I'm gonna transliterate all of this goodness. Here. אנחנו אוכלים, you can hear the sound in. את the falafel של נועם. What happens when I do this? Now what happens? Anyone know?
Change gender.
Yeah, change gender, yes, sir. We're still an us, we're still a we, an us, a group of people. Except this time we're girls, we're ladies, females. אנחנו אוכלות, אוכלות את הפלאפל של נועם. Okay? So since our gender has changed, now we're females, our verb has changed gender as well. The rest did not. So the change in the transliteration would be this. Okay? Ochlot. Again, ot, im, the endings, said the sounds repeat. But again, the falafel is specific. We're not just eating falafel, we're eating the falafel of Noam's. That was long. Any questions about that on Zoom? Awesome. I'm gonna let you finish writing and refer to my workbook, I think, or actually I do have time for maybe another short example. Sure. Can you erase the board? And I will say, you have no idea how many times I would go home. And many a times we'll watch the movies, just the ones that I recommend. So many times we'll just watch the movies, the series, listen to the music. I miss home a lot. So we'll listen and I'll hear stuff that, yeah, I totally knew why I'm sending the song, because a lot of these examples, you can hear them on the stuff that I'm sending you, all the recommendations. So yeah, it has an immense value. Short example. But on the right, making it a sh. And yeah, I definitely tried on the workbook to use everything on the examples. So also the possessive, all the pronouns, I'll move there. So as we move forward, of course, expect to have possessive and everything we've been doing. Anyone want to try and read?
Not, all of you. Okay, okay, Elon,
Yes, ma'am.
uh,
Oh, Shalanu, I forgot the doctor. As you can see, I forgot to.
come on.
Shalanu, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well done. Excellent reading. Repeating for Zoom. Anachnu ohavim et ha-kehila shelanu. What are we saying? We should know the top. Anachnu, we are. Ohavim, love. Et ha, and we can see the va. So we're about to get specific, right? What do we love? Two words. Kehila. What does kehila mean? Letting you know, it means community. Which community? Shelanu. What does shelanu mean? Ours. We love our community. So our community is specific, which is why it begets an it. We love, what do we love? And again, love is a dependent or intransitive verb. We love, what do we love? Our community, or the community of ours. Does that make sense? I'm gonna transliterate. Here the im. Here. Tehillah. Shelanu. Again, remember possessive, we said shell will be the skeleton, and then on top of it we will build. Anachnu, begets shelanu, ours. We love our community. Or speaking English like an Israeli would think in Hebrew, we love the community of ours. Yeah. And in English, you really don't need the because we're already knowing that we're talking about our community, right? In English, it would be natural to say, we love our community. Except that in English, the acknowledging is already built in. In Hebrew, it is not. So, אנחנו אוהבים, what do we love? את הקהילה שלנו, our community. Same thing happens if we change here, like the previous example. אנחנו אוהבות את הקהילה שלנו. So in essence, the only change would have been is the gender. Instead of a group of males, now we're a group of females. Any questions? Okay, awesome. Let's try singular it. I want to try and singular it. So now we're plural. We're saying we love our community, which means we needs to turn into an I, love, and my community, right? Let's see what happens. Does anyone want to try and read it? Yes, ma'am. אני אוהב את הקהילה שלי. Yes, ma'am. Well done. אני אוהב את הקהילה שלי. Which means I love my community. And but I, in this sense, is a male, and we can see it on the verb, right? The verb is male. אני אוהב את הקהילה שלי, my community, the community of mine. What will happen if I do this? אני אוהבת. אוהבת. Again, אני אוהבת. And we can hear the ending it, and we said that's one of the female endings, which means I love my community still, except now I'm a female. I'm gonna transliterate that, at least the female version, real quick, and then I'm gonna move on. You have the sound et, the ending et. אוהבת את. So we have like the double sound here. אני אוהבת את הקהילה שלי. אני אוהבת את הקהילה שלי. Yeah. I'm gonna let you write while I defer presentation here. I'll move, ma'am. You can go in. But yeah, it is 8:22, I think. I'm gonna let you finish writing, and then what I'd love to do is summarize. What I'd love to do is also show you all the that we have learned. There's a frog here on the floor.
We have an infestation.
Sorry, got my attention. What I'm trying to say is, week by week, I have to do the material, which is why I took into consideration I'm going to lose a few of you, if not all of you. What I'm trying to say is that it's there. Again, Hebrew is not running away. It's there for you to refer back. I am not going away. I live here. But what I'm trying also to say is that we've done a lot up to this point. It may seem like a little, especially because it took us a while to reach sentence building and to reach sentences that we're actually saying something instead of dog or cat. So without us noticing, we did a lot, and I'd love to recap all that we've done. I think everyone's done writing, so I'm gonna share screen to my presentation. Okay. These are the examples. We did this. Yeah, doesn't matter for now. Class recap. So you may remember we started with a historical background. We spoke about how Hebrew never really died, but it resurged. The people who did it were the people who lived in Israel. One of them, Rabbi Avraham Moyal, which was the Baron Rothschild's man in the Holy Land. He helped mediate between him and the Ottoman authorities in terms of buying land, building schools, whatever, and so on and so forth. And we said also that because those were the Jews who were there to establish all of those things, again, it changed later, where more Jews came, but that's why the Sephardic dialect is the one that stuck in Israel. And we do remember the examples like Shabbos, which is Shabbat. And we did touch about it in the class. We spoke about Eliezer ben Yehuda and Haim Nachman Bialik, the poets, writers, authors, were some of the revivers or resurgers of the language. Mayim Bialik from the Big Bang Theory and other stuff is Haim Nachman Bialik's great niece, I think. Moving on, we spoke about the semantic field, and you must have seen up to this point how not everything in English can be said in Hebrew and vice versa. Many a times we need to change it in order to keep the same meaning. And I gotta tell you, when the meanings are more complex, sometimes we need to concede on them a little bit. Seriously, like, okay, this doesn't mean exactly what I'm trying to say, but this is the closest I can get to it. Nonetheless, we saw a little bit of that, and we saw how in Hebrew we will think, our train of thought, how we phrase a sentence in our mind will be different than in English. Whereas in English, there will be an easier way to say something, but it's easy only in English. Yeah, something that's there, again, the graph is exaggerated. Continuing on. And then we did the letters slowly but surely, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Daled. We spoke about the sounds that exist in Hebrew versus the ones that don't, and do in English. Ch, remember the tzaddik with the apostrophe, the th sound, and the ones, of course, that don't exist in English. Chet, chaf, and all of those beauties. And definitely for Jason, I don't know if he's still listening, but Jason, if you're listening in the future to this recording, this is your column here for the quote unquote handwritten Hebrew, the cursive Hebrew. And mind you, I just wrote all this with my hands, but it feels like block print. Continuing on. And then we did, of course, the vowels, that I gotta say by now, I went into this class telling myself if everyone learns how to at least utter the sounds right, meaning the letters in conjunction with the vowels, I told myself I'll be happy. And listening to all of you go letter by letter and reading well is very encouraging to me. You're doing great. And we saw this example. Have you ever wanted to see what it would be like to read English with Hebrew vowels? We said it sounds like someone that we're all familiar with. And of course, moved on to two-letter words, single-letter prefixes that next year I need to do a little bit better. Pronouns, and again, ani, ata, at, who and he, which we have that tongue twister that who in Hebrew means he. In English, it will mean who, W-H-O. He, which means her, she. And in English, again, phonetically, it'll sound like he. Still keeping that in our awareness. Continuing on, we did the plural pronouns. Anachnu, atem, aten, hem, and hen. Mind you, in atem, aten, hem, hen, notice the sound is really just the ending. Atem, aten. Israelis always confuse those. So I would say in terms of prioritizing, getting these four right is the least of our priorities. Stick to your own gender and continue on. As I always say, it should be the easiest path. We did some question words. I did my hardest to try and use them as we went on with the examples. Ma, mi, afo, if you remember afo, efi, my friend from basic. Lama, and kama, kama zeole, and so on and so forth. And my favorite are notorious masculine and feminine, singular and plural that we took the time with. But now we see why, because now when we can hear in, ot, or for example, a single male ending in a consonant, single female ending either in et or in a, like malka. So now it should be a lot easier for you to discern, okay, this is male, this is female, this is a group. Moving on. We will talk about declension, how in Hebrew words will have a base conjugation and then build on them. And of course, the verbs and verb roots. In this example, the most basic one, to eat. I think we just used an example. Yeah, we are eating pasta, right? What was the example we used? Okay. But yeah, we can see the verb aleph dot chaf dot lamed, and then all of the conjugations will build on that root base conjugation. Again, there are more than these few arrows. These are the ones that we learn. Continuing on. And then, of course, we did the possessive pronouns. Sheli, shelach, shelcha, shelo, shela, shelanu, shelahem, shelahen. Here too, I will say, if you see the bottom two, shelahem, shelahen, same thing. Remember one, yours, and move on from there. But as you can see, we will have the base conjugation, shel, I'm moving my cursor around it, and then from it, it will build on depending on what the pronoun is. And we did say that the pronoun will be the baseline sound for the possessive pronouns. What do I recommend for continuing on? I do want to say this class is not, it can't be the only Hebrew you do. It's a very little, it's very skinny. If you were to take an A1 level beginner Hebrew in academia, it's 4 hours, 4 academic hours, 2 hours, 2 hours a week. We do 1.5 hours a week, so I had to improvise. But what I'm trying to say is that this is not enough. You need to have Hebrew present for you every day. Remember, when I was growing up, my mom put me in front of the Hallmark channel. I tried to challenge myself to read the subtitles before they disappeared or changed. Before I realized it, I just didn't need them anymore. The same can happen to you. You can definitely recognize words, recognize the sounds. That is the point. Take your time. Take your time. As I said, I'm sure I lost a lot of you getting to this point. I took that into consideration. Go back to where you were struggling. Try to perfect it. If you're struggling and you don't understand, reach out to me. No worries. I'm definitely here for that. I want to encourage you to do that. But in essence, go back to where you got stuck, where you lost me, or where I lost you, and move on from there. If you know everything in this workbook, in this class syllabus, you will be fine in Israel. You will speak present tense for a while, but it will be the best foundation for future learning. And again, you're not in a hurry. Hebrew is not going anywhere. They do add words every year that I'm sure no one bothers to learn. I love my Hebrew. I take pride in it. I intentionally try to speak in a higher literacy level in Hebrew, which sounds weird to a lot of people. But even I don't know all the words. I would say, trying to be generous with myself, I probably know 50% of the words. Doesn't sound impressive, right? But yeah, we have so many words that we stopped using or never really used. Which is why this class focused on now, today, what will work nowadays in Israel. Yeah, easiest thing to do would be to listen to the music, watch the movies and series, the sounds repeat. It will help you catch them. It will help you expand your vocabulary. And I will try to send you more videos. There is another email I'm going to send. I'm going to try and send more explaining videos of other people that I just uploaded to YouTube, and I found them to be of use. And I'm already working on a continuing class. I've heard this a lot. A lot of people want a continuing class. What I'm trying for it to do is pick up from this point exactly. So definitely, I would love it if we had people at this level by the time we actually have the A1 class, which should be soon eventually. I want it ready for 2026, I will say that. And yeah, you do have on your workbook, and I sent it in the emails, the automatic vowler that you can use. The weekly emails are there. And our recordings of the classes are on our Synagogue YouTube. Thank you again to Stephanie Sterling and Jason Bloomberg for helping me with all this. Thank you, ma'am, and everyone here for attending this class. It means a lot to me. Hebrew is important to me. I know it's a pain point for a lot of people. I would love for us to be able to answer it. This class is an attempt to start and answer it. Hopefully one of many attempts. See what else do I have here. Thank you, Toda. Thank you, Toda. Yeah, it's 35. Sorry I went a bit over. Sorry I was late as well. Thank you, everyone. Erev Tov, good evening. Erev Tov, good evening to everyone. Yeah, I'm still here organizing the class. If you need me, I'm going to stop sharing as well. I'm here for questions and email and everything. Thank you, everyone, again. And I'm going to start organizing.
Matani,
Thank you. Toda lecha, Dr. Silver. I hope so, ma'am. I hope so.